Hi everybody, it's Dana Lavoie. I am excited to be here to check in with you today. I want to dive a little deeper into the topic of my blog post from this past week. What happens after menopause? So the blog was called Will Menopause Go Away on Its Own? So you've got those years where maybe you have the intense hot flashes. What happens after that? What should you be thinking about in terms of caring for your hormones after the heart of menopause has passed? What can you do to make those years better? Why is now the best time to start preparing for a great postmenopause? And exactly how you can do that. That's what I want to talk about today. So I'm Dana Lavoie. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist, and I help women use customized herbal formulas to feel amazing during and after menopause. And of course, we support those with the best diet and lifestyle for your hormones, which amplifies the results. And I work mostly through online programs now, which is so exciting because I can connect with so many of you with the herbs. So let's dive in. I want to talk about what happens after menopause. So there's two sort of scenarios we're looking at here. One is your postmenopause and your hot flashes went away, you're sleeping fine, you basically have no symptoms, the menopausal symptoms all went away. Do you need to be doing anything for your hormones? And then there are the women who are, 10 years past their last period, but they're still having hot flashes, they're still having trouble sleeping, they're still gaining weight, nothing is working to lose it, right? So you're actually having some signs and symptoms that could easily be caused by a bit of a hormonal imbalance. Okay, so in either case, symptoms or no symptoms, there's still some support that we want to be thinking about here. So let's talk about what that is. The types of support that you want to think about giving your body in those postmenopausal years is number one, support for your hormone levels. Okay, you want to keep those hormone levels higher as opposed to lower. So we're still talking postmenopausal levels, which are lower than they used to be. But there's a big difference between postmenopausal high normal and what the hormones often fall to on their own without any support, which is actually very close to zero. How you feel and how you age is going to vary a lot depending on if you can keep those hormone levels just at that high postmenopausal normal. And yes, your body can still make hormones during those years. It happens more outside of the ovaries even, but it can still happen. So we're going to talk about how you can optimize that. The other types of support you want to be thinking about giving your body in those postmenopausal years are support for maintaining healthy inflammation levels, because as we get older, it's just easier and easier for our body to get into a state of high levels of inflammation, and this increases so many signs of aging. There's actually a term they came up with for it called inflammaging, which is, all the diseases and discomforts and disease processes that you're likely to encounter if you are postmenopausal with high inflammation levels. So there's lots we can do to help the body maintain those healthy inflammation levels, which are not too high. You also want to help your body maintain healthy blood sugar levels, because when blood sugar starts going up or gets irregular, if you develop that insulin resistance, then it doesn't feel good. Not only does it increase inflammation a lot, but it can really cause easy weight gain and a lack of good steady energy to do fun things with. So I'm keeping that blood sugar, and we do tend to develop insulin resistance. We often become more sensitive to sugar, so there's a lot we can do to support maintaining healthy blood sugar levels post-menopause. You also want to make sure that your body is still detoxifying well, that those detoxification pathways are open and working and flowing, and part of that is just a really healthy liver function. The other thing is the progesterone. Those high levels of progesterone are kind of a thing of the past. We become more sensitive to stress very often. If you find you're a little more irritable, you just don't put up with as much crap as you used to. Part of it is just a good natural process, but it's also easier to get caught up in those higher levels of chronic stress and having high levels of stress hormones circulating through your body. And that becomes a real issue. We're going to talk about why it just eats away at the hormone levels you're trying to build and maintain. So making sure you're managing stress effectively is important. And if that is feeling frustrating to you, I have something really exciting to share about that. And the last type of support you want to think about giving your body is epigenetic support. So no, you can't change your genes, your DNA, but you can have an effect on which genes are turned on or not. So if you have a family history for osteoporosis or dementia, there's like a certain chance, a 50-50 chance or a 30% chance or a 40% chance you might develop that. Well, we can help tip those odds right away from that happening. So you can have the gene but not have it get turned on and not experience that disease process. So we can keep your telomeres healthy and give what's called epigenetic support to really help tip the odds in your favor in terms of a lot of things that you might be prone to otherwise. And then, so that's the basic support I recommend everyone think about in the postmenopausal years. But of course, if you're also having hormonal symptoms like hot flashes or night sweats that are just lingering for decades, right? Or any of those other types of things, then we want to help those hormones. Sometimes they stabilize post-menopause, and they're either some of them are just too low or they're just a little out of balance with each other. And now that they're stabilized, they can stay that way forever. And we can just give them a little tweak, and bring them back into balance, and all of a sudden the symptoms can disappear. So you include the symptom management if you need it, and if not, you just focus on the other kinds of support. Okay, so what can you do to make this better? Okay, so the basic things that we're gonna look at doing is helping your body continue to make hormones. So I said your body can still make hormones, but it's harder than it used to be, and a lot of things can make it not happen. So we wanna create an environment which the body can maximize its ability to continue to make hormones after menopause. So one thing you can do is give your body the building blocks it needs, like lots of them. So when it just thinks, well, maybe I'll make a hormone, it's like, here's everything you need, please do. Okay, so we want to have all those building blocks around in ample supply. One way you can do that with the macronutrients for building hormones is through your diet, but there are also a lot of really special micronutrients for building hormones that you're more likely to get from something like an herbal remedy. And then the other thing that you want to do besides giving the building blocks is there's this thing that can happen where you have a certain amount of hormones circulating in your body, but the way you feel is actually as if you had less hormones circulating in the body. Why is this? Why are the hormones there, but it's like you can't use them, you can't access them? It feels like they're not even there. Well, when hormones get used, they get plugged into receptor sites. So the hormones floating around, that's not making you feel any different. But when your body says, ooh, we need you right now, the hormone plugs into a receptor site, and you get the benefit from that hormone. Well, those receptor sites, as we get older, our detoxification decreases, our circulation decreases, right? There's like cataracts building up in your eyes. We get, it's like those receptor sites can become clogged. So say you have 100 of them and 25% of them are kind of clogged up, or 75% of them are clogged up, okay? It's kind of like you've got a store, you've got all these customers, they're waiting online with money in hand, they want to pay you, right? You've got hormones circulating in your body, but the amount of them that you can use is limited. The gatekeeper is how many receptor sites are open and working. So there's actually things we can do to go in and help the body keep all those, or as many as possible of those receptor sites as clean and active as possible, so that not only are we going to help your body make hormones, we're going to help your body be able to make use of all the hormones that you do still have. And then the other thing that we're going to look at how to do is reduce the things in your life that are lowering your hormone levels. We're working so hard to bring them up that last little bit. We want to make sure that there's not something going on that's continually taking away all our hard work, okay? So what can you do? So let's talk about the last one first. How can you get rid of those things that are taking away the hormones you're trying so hard to build? Well, I'm going to tell you some of the biggest ones are stress. High levels of chronic stress not only take away hormones, they make your body unable to make hormones, because the place in your body where you're now making those female hormones is actually the same place where you make your stress hormones. It's like a factory, and it has to have one setting. So if it's making stress hormones, it's not making female hormones. So if it's making stress hormones all the time, you're not making a lot of female hormones. You have to turn off stress hormone production to be able to make those female and sex hormones. And then you need to keep those stress level hormones under control, or they drain away the other female hormones that you do make. So stress management is really important. but we're more sensitive to stress now. It's like sometimes you feel like you could meditate all day and still feel stressed. Well, what you can do about that is you can use something to help. This is where something like herbal remedies come in. To me, herbal remedies for helping to manage stress are amazing. It can be like, you're trying to manage stress, you're trying to get from this stressed out room into this really calm room over there, and the door is just shut and locked in your face. Using herbal remedies, it's like the door is unlocked, it's opening, and all you have to do is 15 minutes of meditation to step through the door. It becomes so much more achievable to get results from just little moderate amounts of stress management. So herbs can really help your body regulate stress hormone levels. So that's a great thing that they can do. And of course, we talked already about the macro. So for building up your hormonal building blocks, for providing your body with ample hormonal building blocks, macronutrients from that come from your diet. I have a resource you can download that gives the best diet for your hormones. You need plenty of healthy fats. There's certain things in the diet that you just need to be able to make hormones. Those are the macronutrients. But there are these other micronutrients, little specialized ingredients. They're more like the herbs and spices, but your body needs those too. And those are what you're going to find, like phytoestrogens are one, okay? You can find them in soy, but there are some issues with that, whereas you can get those in an herbal remedy in a great supply. So when you combine the right diet for macronutrient hormonal building blocks with herbal remedy for micronutrient hormonal building blocks, then you're really giving the body the building blocks that it needs to create those hormones and to keep them higher even in the postmenopausal years. And the other thing that the herbal remedies can do, and combined with diet, of course, is to help support those healthy blood sugar levels and inflammation levels, because obviously if you're eating refined sugar all day long, it's very hard to manage your blood sugar levels. But sometimes even when we're eating really well, we just tend to develop that insulin resistance anyway, and the herbal remedies can help so much to just help your body continue to be smarter about managing blood sugar when you give it half a chance by eating halfway decently. So it can really help with inflammation levels, stress levels, blood sugar levels, so many of those things that we talked about above. Just getting on like the right herbal formula can give your body incredible support for all those things, for the hormonal micronutrient building blocks. But the other one that I want to talk about too is detoxification, because the herbs can be incredibly helpful for your liver function in a really targeted way. And of course with diet, like for instance, one really important part of detoxification is bowel movements. You've got to be having those good bowel movements with enough fiber to really be cleansing. That's sort of like the macronutrient part, but then what's actually happening inside the liver would be affected a little bit more by the micronutrients and the herbal formulas. So that combination of the herbal formulas with the right diet is just so, so powerful. And let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so it's like, with the right herbal formulas on board, your efforts to manage stress or manage inflammation or manage your blood sugar or build more hormones are going to be like the work that you do with diet and lifestyle is going to be amplified tenfold if you're also using herbs to support that. So if you're super stressed out and you're eating Twinkies, that's all you're eating all day long, the herbs are going to help, but they're not going to be a total fix. But if you're kind of doing a halfway decent diet and lifestyle, the herbs are going to, they're going to help your body take that and run with it. Feel pretty darn great. So that's kind of how they work together. Those are the main things I recommend doing. Those are the kinds of things, the kinds of support I recommend thinking about in the postmenopausal years. And of course, if you're having hot flashes or trouble sleeping or weight gain, these are going to have huge, potentially negative impacts on your health over time, okay? If you're not sleeping, life is just not fun. It's harder to lose weight. It's harder to think clearly. I mean, so many things are affected by not getting enough sleep. And if your hormones are a little out of whack, you can not sleep very well in all the postmenopausal years. That's a big deal. You would definitely want to address that. If you're gaining weight, of course, a little bit is okay, but there comes a point where either you don't feel well or it can have an effect on your health. And so it's nice to be able to just help your body naturally maintain what's a healthy weight range for you. And a lot of that is, like we talked about, keeping the metabolism happy, which depends on hormones and that healthy blood sugar levels. And the stress and all of it. So the other thing I want to talk about was the epigenetics. So of course, part of that is a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle, but there are herbs that are being proven to have incredibly wonderful wonderful, wonderful power to help the body keep your telomeres healthy and sway any tendencies toward which genes are turned on or not in the favor of towards the odds where you want them to stay. There's this astragaloside and in the herb astragalus. There are just some really specific herbs that have traditionally been considered very safe and very beneficial for healthy aging are now being proven to have these kinds of epigenetic benefits. So it's just incredible. And when you start to put all this together, it's a little bit like the fountain of youth. It's pretty great how wonderful you can actually feel in those postmenopausal years. So if you thought, menopause is over, it's going to go away on its own, I don't have to do anything about it, you could look at it that way. But I like to think that by just figuring out a simple way to give your body these types of support, boy, do you have the potential to feel better and to delay the signs of aging and possibly completely avoid a lot of the typical diseases of aging that we might think are inevitable, not necessarily inevitable. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I think there was something else that I'm forgetting. If you have questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments. And if you are watching the replay and you have a question, just go ahead and pop it in the comment and tag me, and I would be happy to answer it after the fact. Let me see if there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, there's one other thing. Why is now the best time to start preparing to have a great postmenopause? 2 reasons. 1, it is easier to maintain higher hormone levels than to rebuild them after they have already crashed all the way down to 0. It just is. So if you start supporting them at the very beginning of menopause before they've completely dropped, it's just easier to keep them high than to let them go all the way down and then try to rebuild them. I mean, you can do that, but it's just harder. So it's better to start sooner. And the other thing is that this is a kind of a Chinese medicine idea. Menopause is a real crossroads. The way that you are feeling and the level of health that you're maintaining during menopause, it really sets the stage for how you're going to feel post-menopause. It's like a crossroads, and you're kind of choosing, okay, is the next leg of my life going to be on this road or that road? And one of them is a lot more healthy than the other one. So if you can put those healthy habits in place, you're getting sleep, you're managing stress, you're eating right, and you're on a supportive herbal formula kind of during menopause or from the very beginning of menopause on, it is going to serve you really well in terms of getting you on that right path where everything is easier when it comes to healthy aging in the postmenopausal years. And one final note that I want to say is in terms of getting the support from an herbal remedy that I've talked about, I know that I'm not giving you, say, take this herbal remedy, and there's a reason for that. And it's because some women are going to need more help with, controlling hot flashes so they can sleep, or they don't have any hot flashes, but they're just not sleeping, or they're not having any symptoms, but they have a tendency towards insulin resistance and need more support for blood sugar, or it's more an inflammation issue, or it's more a stress issue, or it's more a detoxification issue. So, or they have a family history that they're really worried about and they want to focus on the epigenetic side of things, that type of support. So even though we're going to include all those types of support for everyone, ideally, 50% or 70% of the herbs that you're taking might be focused on one thing. And that thing could be different. You give me 8 different women, it could be different for all of them. So if you customize your herbs to your body's weak areas, symptoms that you are having, and where you're at in your menopausal journey, your results are going to go from a 20% success rate to a 90% success rate. So I don't even recommend herbs if they're not at least somewhat customized, is kind of why I'm not telling you specific herbs to take. I probably wouldn't work that well. So if you would like to learn more about how to find those right herbs, just go check out my free resources over on my website. At the moment, they change sometimes, but I have got a free mini course, Introduction to Herbs for Menopause, and then a more in-depth masterclass where I talk about some advanced strategies for how to choose herbs for postmenopause. So it's all completely free, and if you want to know more about that, go check that out and see if it sounds right for you. And then you will know how to go about figuring it out, or how to work with me through some of my online programs to get my help and support in finding just the right herbs for you. There are a lot of options, but you will know what you're looking for. So I had so much fun with last week's blog post. Like I said, it was called Will Menopause Go Away on Its Own? But there was more I wanted to say. And so this was it. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your thoughts on Have you thought about the postmenopausal years? Were you thinking that you needed to be thinking about your hormones after menopause? Or was it just, how can I control hot flashes and then forget about it because I'm done? That, I guess, is the attitude that I'm trying to change a little bit. So I'm Dana Lavoie. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist. I help women feel amazing during and after menopause using customized herbal remedies taken from the Chinese herbal tradition, supported by the best diet and lifestyle for your hormones. And if you have a question, I'd love to chat with you. Feel free to contact me, tag me, send me an email. Check out last week's blog post for sure and download those free resources. Watch the free trainings and learn more about how you can, in just a few minutes a day, be giving your body all these different kinds of support. All right. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and I will see you next time. Bye.